Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Alexify, the place for fashion podcast. On this week's episode, I have an amazing guest. She's a sustainable fashion designer who just had her first show in the latest New York Fashion Week. Her designs are amazing and great for the earth, so that's a win-win in my book. On this week's episode, we have Natalia Trevino Amaro. How are you doing, Natalia?
I am so good. I'm so happy to be here and talk to you today.
I am so happy to have you on. So let's just jump right on into it. For people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Natalia. I am 21, though almost 22, and I'm a sustainable fashion designer. I graduated from FIT in May of 2020, and I've been running my slow fashion brand basically since then, and that's kind of what I do for a living.
That is seriously so amazing. I did not know that you were 21 and then you had a show at New York Fashion Week. That is literally starting things big, young. I love to hear it. So how did you really get started in fashion? What was it always something that like you always knew you wanted to do, or was there like a certain thing or person or whatever that made you interested in it?
Yeah, I was always interested in it. I feel like anybody who loves fashion is always like since you were little, you just love dressing up and all of that. So I was definitely that kid. But I didn't take it seriously as a career until I was in like high school, just because I feel like everybody makes it out to be some like dream career that you just can't access. Like it seems like one of those like, oh, I want to be a singer or an actress type of deal where like you're not going to actually do that, but you just like dream about being famous or whatever. So that's like the mindset I had about being a fashion designer. I was like, oh, it'd be cool, but like I don't think I can do that realistically. But once I hit high school and everybody starts bombarding you with the college questions, I actually like did my research and started realizing like fashion schools are a thing. Yeah. I didn't know that growing up because I grew up in the Midwest, so it's not like a common thing that people talk about or like even think about. So once I realized that fashion schools are a thing and that people actually like are successful after going to school for it and stuff, and it's not like a unattainable career, it's kind of when I started taking it more seriously. And that's also around the time where I started like taking sewing more seriously and was taking classes in high school and stuff for it. So kind of all of that put together is what actually led me to like fully pursue it, but it's definitely something I've always wanted to do and it was always in the back of my head.
Definitely. No, I totally understand that. I remember I literally had a conversation with someone and I was like, yeah, my dream is to move to New York or California and pursue fashion. They were like, that's what everyone says, right? And I was like, well, screw you. I'm going to do it.
Right. Exactly.
And now that's what we're doing. So look at us now. Prove everyone wrong.
Yes.
So let's take you back to your very first design. Can you tell me what that was?
Yes. So my very first design, I had my grandma help me with it because she knows how to sew super well. And she doesn't live here, but she was visiting us. And I think I was maybe 10, maybe 9 or 10. And I was like, I want to sew a cute outfit. But she basically made the whole thing. I was just there for moral support. But it was this like hot pink, shimmery like tank top with like a black and silver polka dot, like shiny skirt kind of deal.
Oh my God.
And I made like a matching belt and a matching like headband to the skirt. And I thought I was like the coolest person ever. It was an atrocious outfit, very 2000s of me.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. But that's like the first thing I ever like actually kind of made. Which was fun. But then actually later on, I think the first thing I ever made after like making your basic like pillow case and like pajama pants or whatever, I think I just made like a skirt, like a basic type of skirt, nothing crazy. So I always go back to that outfit because that one's more fun.
Yeah. I love it. I love the Y2K vibes. So yes. From that pink sequin top and the polka dots, how would you say that you have progressed through the years with your designs?
I think I'm a little more minimalistic now. Yeah, I still stick to the very black, white, and then like a pop of color type of deal. I really love that vibe. I never grew out of that. But I'm a little more toned down. We don't do the shiny sequins. We go for a little satin silky moment, a little more, tamed. But I think overall, I've always been a little bit more minimalistic, a little more like, I would say like elegant or like classic with my style. And I think that's definitely like stayed with me throughout the years. I'm not a super like colorful person usually. Yeah, I don't know. I just like to stick to classics, and I thought I would like get out of that phase at some point, but I just like always go back to it. I love a good classic style.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot like sustainability also has a lot to do with just like wearing those more minimalistic things because
Mhm.
it's hard to be on trend and while also being sustainable.
Right.
I love to be on trend, which is why I thrift most of my things, which is how I like
Right.
to be sustainable. But if you just buy a garment, like there's always those classics that you have in your closet that can literally surpass through all of the trends. And you can literally, I think I have like a white button down that I've had since elementary school that just
Yep.
always a little oversized or always a little tighter or whatever, and somehow
Right.
it's just managed to like fit me all throughout the years. And that's like just a great way of being sustainable is having those like more minimalistic pieces in your closet. So
Mhm.
I love that. I love the minimalistic side of it.
Yeah.
So what first, more onto now that we're talking about sustainable fashion, what
Mhm.
first made you interested in sustainability and sustainable fashion?
It's actually still, I always say it's like recent. I guess it's been like a couple years now, so it's not as recent. But it wasn't until I got to college that I actually started thinking about it, just because again, growing up in the Midwest, nobody cares. Nobody thinks about that. It's just not something you're taught or that's like around. I guess nowadays it's a little bit more talked about, but when I was growing up, it was just not a conversation that was had. But when I got to college, I had a lot of classmates that talked a lot about sustainability and just like specifically within the fashion industry. And they would be like the type to like, post a lot of things about it on social media and repost a lot of things. And I just like started feeling guilty about not knowing all these things. It's like I knew it, but I didn't actually know it. It's like the back, like, I don't know. It's like with like ethics, even how everybody knows that sweatshops exist, but nobody like actually acknowledges it. It's like we all know it's a thing, but nobody actually cares to do anything about it. It's kind of how I felt. So once I like was more into like my first year of college, like towards the end of it, the second semester, I was like, okay, maybe I should start taking this more seriously. I started doing more of my own like research on things. And I just like came to the conclusion that like if I want to be part of the industry, like I don't want to be like the bad part of the industry that's like doing the harm. I'd rather be part of like the good side that's like trying to do better and be better to the planet and to people and everything. So that's kind of when I decided to start my sustainability journey, but it's definitely been a journey because it's so hard to unlearn everything that you've like been taught growing up your entire life. But we've managed.
No, definitely. I think that a big part of just sustainable fashion is educating people. And
Yeah.
I also completely same story. I definitely knew sweatshops existed, but at that time I was like, oh, this thing is cute and I want it.
Yep.
So do I care how it was made? Which is a terrible, terrible thing to like go through in your head. But you're just like, it's not even like, I don't even think I went through that in my head. I think it was more just like, this is cute and I'm going to get it. And then I found out more research and I went to college about it. And you just like, it's so eye-opening when you really start to do more of that actual research on your own, or you start learning about it in school or whatever way you choose to learn. That's why I like to follow accounts that, talk more about sustainability that aren't just like, oh, like here's the clothes that I'm wearing. Like, like talk more about like the behind the scenes part of it, because like that's a great way of like educating people is through social media. That's, I mean, how a lot of people nowadays are finding out news and stuff like that. So I love just seeing those accounts that are just using like their platforms to even just educate people, because like that one eye-grabbing thing that's like, oh wait, I never thought about that, and then that leads that person to go and research more and find out more and then make those changes. So yeah, those are just like amazing things. And you said earlier about the like feeling guilty part aspect of it, but it's like our whole life we're not taught those things,
Exactly.
So it's like I feel guilty because I didn't know, but how was I supposed to know? So I just want like everyone in the world to like now be taught about this, harmful aspect of the fashion industry, so that they don't have to feel guilty about not knowing about it, because they learn about it younger rather than like, oh, this is cute, I'm gonna buy it.
Yep.
Anyways, so do you incorporate sustainability in like your everyday life, or is it more in just like your fashion choices? For example, like using sustainable cleaning products. That's something that I recently started doing, was finding brands that have like a reusable toothbrush or whatever. Obviously, we use our toothbrushes, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
So is it more of like adjusting your fashion choices, or are you trying to also incorporate it in your everyday life?
I've definitely been trying to incorporate it into my everyday life. I think it wasn't until I was able to like move out and live on my own that I was able to actually really incorporate it. Cause like when I was living with my parents, it's so much harder to do it in a household where like not everybody necessarily agrees on doing all these things and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely like I compost. I have all the, fun cleaning supplies as well that are all reusable. I try to buy like every product in like the most sustainable way possible if I can. I have sustainable toilet paper, all the things. Everybody makes so much fun of me for it every time they come into my house. Like, oh, is this reusable toilet paper? I'm like, no, that's disgusting. Like, it's just made from recycled paper. Like, calm down. But yeah, no, I definitely like try to be as sustainable as possible in my everyday life. But obviously, I'm not perfect. I still create a lot of waste, and it's like definitely hard, I think, in the Midwest to be like fully zero waste in your lifestyle because like I don't have a bulk store near me for like food. So I feel like everything comes in plastic food wise. So I can't avoid that very much. But like I have like an imperfect food subscription. So like that makes me feel a little bit better about it. But it's just like little things that I definitely do try to do. Definitely still figuring it all out though, because I think there's so many aspects that are just like you don't even think about, but you could definitely improve on.
Definitely. And you said earlier, you're not perfect. I think that even just making the efforts to become more sustainable on a day-to-day basis or just in one way in the fashion industry is amazing. Like just taking the steps to become more sustainable. That's what I always tell people is we're human. We're not always going to be sustainable. We're not always perfect. We're human. Yeah. We're known to make maybe a few mistakes throughout our life. Just
just a few.
Just a few. But, just even making those efforts to become more sustainable or even just educating yourself about it. That's one step that we needed and we did it, and congratulations. Phenomenal.
Yes.
So you had your first show during New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
Was this was your first time attending New York Fashion Week?
It was kind of, I guess like I interned through New York Fashion Week like back when I was in school, but I haven't like attended it necessarily. Right. So I guess it was a fully different experience.
Right. So how was the experience? Was it everything you ever expected?
Honestly, yeah, it was like the best night ever. I wasn't expecting that much. I guess mostly because I don't like to give myself like super high expectations when I do like in-person events or things, just in case it doesn't go well. I don't want to like let myself down, I guess. So I wasn't like expecting much out of it, or I hadn't like, I don't know, come up with any sort of expectation for it. I was just like, oh, I'm excited to show it. Hope it goes well. Hope people show up, whatever. But we ended up like selling out the show, which was like incredible. It was a small space. Because like the girl who runs the actual company that hosted it or whatever, she also wasn't sure how many people would like show up, and it was like their first time doing a show back since like COVID and all of that, so they just like didn't know how the crowds would be and whatnot. But yeah, we definitely ended up like selling it out and having so many people like wanting to come in and like not being able to and all that, so it was incredible. The energy was just so cool. I feel like New York Fashion Week has a bad rep, obviously, with a lot of fast fashion brands doing events and just like general, I don't know, just a lot of things like that are just like looked down upon. But like this show was just so fun because everybody there was just like from such different walks of life too. It wasn't just like fashion people. Like I had girls that were like nurses, people who were studying like computer science, and like a lawyer, like just like all these different types of people that just loved sustainable fashion, and that's why they showed up. Like, so it was just a really cool environment and such a cool vibe, and so different from like the typical New York Fashion Week, just like fashion influencer type of vibe, which like isn't bad. Like I am technically like a fashion influencer too, so like I wouldn't be mad if I got invited to those things, but like but it was cool to just have like, I would not to say regular people, but people who aren't in the fashion industry also like care and show up about that. So it's just a cool energy. Like it exceeded all my expectations.
That is amazing. And that just overall sounds incredible. So tell us all of the details. How did the day go? How long did it take for you to prepare for the show? I want to hear everything.
Yeah. So they actually reached out to me about the show in like August. So, or like maybe it was like late July or something. So I didn't have that much time to prepare. And when they had told me about it, Obviously I immediately like said yes. I was like, sign me up. But I already had like 2 trips to LA planned in August. So I was like, shoot, I don't know when I'm gonna make this collection because I literally don't have time because I'm like I was doing a pop-up shop in LA. So I was going there to like go give the stuff to them. And then I had a second trip to like bring my stuff back. So I was like, well, I've got 1 week in between the 2 trips to kind of figure it all out.
Oh my God.
So I basically made it all within that 1 week. I had a couple things that I was already kind of working on and like I was making samples of before they had even asked about it. But basically it was all made within that 1 week, which was insane. But yeah, that's how that went. And then the day of was such a hectic day too. They gave us like the event space, or like the venue opened up to us at like 3:30, I think. And we had a pre-show kind of like a cocktail hour type thing at 5:45. So that only gave us like 2 hours to get like the models like in makeup and hair and, you know, do the run through and kind of figure out the whole system of like how they're going to change into everything and what everything was going to look like, set up the chairs, like do everything within like 2 hours basically. And like we had a little pop-up shop, so it was like setting that up too. So it was super hectic for 2 hours. But somehow we all pulled through and it all like went really smoothly. And then, you know, we had people come in and it was really great. I like did not eat all day long. Like I had breakfast.
Oh, no.
I didn't think about the fact that like I wouldn't have time to eat later that night. So I just like didn't eat at all that day. And I didn't even realize I hadn't eaten until after the show. I got back to the hotel room and it was like 10 and I was like, oh my God, all I've had today is like a breakfast sandwich at like 9. Like I'm starving. But that just shows like how much high energy it was. And, like, I was so like invested in everything that I wasn't even thinking about it. But yeah, it was super, super fun, super hectic. But I had a couple people helping me out with like content and social media and getting videos too, which was really nice. So that way I could like talk to people and, you know, do my thing and be social. But yeah, it was a hectic day and somehow it all came together and went really smoothly. But we were like so scared that it wasn't going to go that smoothly because it was just so hectic for those 2 hours trying to prep. But it all turned out okay.
Yeah, that sounds insane. It's great that it all pulled off though. That's
right.
That's always the goal, you know? Rush it take as little time as possible, just get it through. That I feel like even that could be better because you don't have time to like think and stress, like just
literally
like, oh my God, like is this gonna go right, you're just like, oh my God, move next, okay, go, oh perfect, good,
literally
show's over. Thank you for coming.
Yep.
So how many pieces did you end up showcasing?
So I had 6 looks. It was 4 dresses, 2 tops, a skirt, and pants. So however many pieces that is, I can't count right now. But cool. Yeah, that's how many pieces I had. But those pieces are going to be like available on my shop in November as like kind of like my holiday collection, but I'm having them in like multiple different colorways too. So there'll be more pieces when I actually launch it, but those are the ones I decided to show.
That is amazing. So you said that you were going to LA. Are you planning on attending Los Angeles Fashion Week, or do you not know yet?
I don't know yet. I would love to. I love LA. I'm like low-key thinking of moving to LA. So
you can come stay with me.
Literally, I want to so bad.
Let me know when you come. Let me know. We'll meet up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, I would love to be involved in like every fashion week possible if I can. Obviously, I just like need to actually schedule my life around it. So, you know, it gets a little difficult when everything's like back to back and like, you know, I need to also be making money somehow in between there. So hopefully, eventually I would love to. Like, I love LA. I literally would move there right now if I could.
Well, hopefully they give you a little more than a week to get prepared with all.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the goal for this time.
Right.
Well, that all sounds amazing. So what really goes into making like a sustainable item? Can you tell us more about your brand and, you know, do you use sustainable biodegradable fabrics and sustainable packaging, and tell us everything?
Yeah, I think sustainability is just such a like vague term because like so many things can be sustainable, but it's like what makes it the most sustainable. And that's something I struggled with so much when I was like starting my brand and like how I wanted to go about things. So like as far as fabrics, like I personally use a lot of dead stock fabric. So it's like leftover fabrics from like I don't know, other suppliers or whatever. Um, so that's what I find to be, I guess, the most sustainable because in a way it's like thrifted fabric or like secondhand fabric that's like already made that would have gone to the landfill. But I know a lot of people have like problems with dead stock fabric too, because I don't know, there's something about it that people don't like. But then it's like I do use biodegradable fabrics like natural fiber fabrics if I ever do buy something new. But at the same time, it's like I try not to because that's still creating new things when there's so much that's already there. So I try to use mostly dead stock or secondhand or like scraps as much as I can. And everything's like zero waste. So I don't throw anything out and I try to reuse every scrap possible. So that way I also feel better about the fact that a lot of my dead stock fabrics are like polyester, honestly. Like they're a lot definitely not like the most sustainable fabrics in that term. So I try to reuse everything so it doesn't get like sent to a landfill either, even if it's scraps. And then yeah, I do have sustainable packaging as well. I don't have like cute packaging, which I would love to have cute packaging, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to spend the money on that, and also like it's just not the most sustainable route to take. So I just have like pretty basic sustainable packaging, and yeah, and then everything's made to order, which is also I guess the more sustainable route than having like set inventory or whatever, because everything that's made is like already made for somebody who's already bought it. Though I do make some pre-made pieces every now and then, but not really the majority of the time. So yeah, those are kind of, I think, my main sustainability practice. I always feel like I'm missing something, but I think those are my main ones.
And that's great that it's made to order. I have actually kind of been looking into like, I really, really want to produce some sort of like t-shirt or whatever that I want to go thrifting and like thrift a bunch of t-shirts and then make something cute and sell it. But I was trying to find like there needs to be some sort of program or website or whatever that uses sustainable shirts or whatever. And then it's made to order, like you don't pre-order it. And I haven't been able to find anything like that where it's like someone else makes it technically, but like it's made to order. So it's like the more sustainable way of doing that. So maybe I'll just invent it and then maybe that's my goal in life is just
I totally get that. Yeah, no, it's rough.
There's like so many things that you can like, there's so many places where you can just like buy a bunch of t-shirts and pre-order and then whatever, but there's none that are more sustainable. So that whoever's listening and wants to do that, let me know. Please let me know if you're starting it. We can work together. This is great.
Yep.
So what is something that's super important to you about your brand that you just want the listeners to know about?
For me, the most important thing about my brand, I guess, is just the like sustainability and ethics behind it. I had such a hard time coming to terms with like being in the fashion industry because I was like, it just seems so vain to like want to work in the fashion industry. It just seems like such a like bad place to be in because there's so many like beauty standards and just like a lot of abuse of people, whether that be interns during fashion week or like actual people making your clothes or whatever it is. I just feel like it's such a bad place to be in a lot of ways. So for me, when I came into the fashion industry, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do it, like I want to do it well and I want it to have purpose. So I think the most important part of my brand is that I have that purpose. It's not just like, oh, I want to sell you pretty clothes or like, oh, I want to get rich off of like making clothes. Like I just genuinely want to do good and hopefully give you a greater message of like, be more conscious and love the clothes that you do buy and like, feel good about what you're buying. Cause yeah, I just think purpose is so important. And I feel like so many fashion brands are just like there to make money and just there to sell you pretty clothes. And it just, I don't know. I just don't like that. I feel like things should have a greater purpose. So that's kind of my thing.
I completely agree. Could not have said it better myself. And we need more people like you. So, what are some just other of your favorite sustainable stores that you like to shop at, just so the listeners have other sustainable places to shop if they want to?
Yeah, I usually also thrift anything that I buy because I don't know, if I buy from somebody that hand makes it, I'm always like, I could make it myself. So not that I wouldn't want to support them, but it's just like I have this weird thing of like I could make it myself, so I don't want to buy it at such a high price. So for me, I just like love thrifting, but obviously I don't thrift in person here because freaking Indiana is just like flannels and skinny jeans, and I'm not here for it. So I definitely just like I browse through ThreadUp all the time. I love the Real Real. Poshmark is a great place. Like I just go on these every once in a while just to see what's new. And try to, you know, find something. Or, you know, when I was out in LA, like thrifted out there, which was super fun, or like thrifting in New York is fun. But yeah, I definitely thrift. Like I really don't think I've bought anything new since I like started my sustainability journey. Like I really don't remember last time I bought something new from like a sustainable brand. Like I follow a lot of them. I just haven't actually purchased anything because thrifting is just so easy sometimes.
No, completely. Yep. Literally, I thrift everything. I'm like,
right.
And then I used to do, because a lot of influencers, they do like to know it, and they
right
outfits, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like I promise you, I'm not like gatekeeping. Like
right.
It's thrifted. Like
exactly.
So I like put it in my Instagram bio. I was like, my outfit's probably thrifted, just so that people are aware. Because I'm like, dude, I will search on Depop. I will go to thrift stores for you. Like I will try to find something exactly like this, but I'm telling you, I promise you, it's thrifted.
Yep. That's how I feel. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Again, I'll go to Depop for you. I'll go to the thrift store for you. We can figure this out, but it's thrifted.
Yep.
So where can people shop your store and kind of find you on social media?
Yeah, so my shop is nataliatrevinoamaro.com. I know that's a very long name, and I wish it wasn't that long of a name, but I really can't change my name. And that's also on my social media handles. So that's also me on TikTok is at Natalia Trevino Amaro, and also on Instagram, that's my shop. So, you know, I'm just going to force people to have to learn my name because there's no other way.
It's good. We're branding your name. It's perfect. You are the brand. I love it. That's me too, but my name's not quite as long.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on with me today. I had so much fun speaking with you. Don't forget to follow Natalia on her socials. And while you're at it, you can follow me too. My Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are all at Lexy Silverstein. That's Lexy, silver like the color, Stein. And remember to make the ordinary extraordinary.